Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness, day 157 at 365 with David McDonald, the GOAT. Good morning, Liz. Oh, man. Oh, it's snowing. It's snowing. Finally snowing. Hopefully it's snowing enough that we don't have to go to work. No, I'm just joking. Alrighty, I'll see you on the other side. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Jason. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so we just finished our journaling routine, and our meditation routine, and so we're gonna get into our reading routine now. I'm reading "Think and Grow Rich" by Napoleon Hill. 25 pages left. All right, we're in the home stretch. So I'll see you guys on the other side. Excuse me. Nice. Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome back. So we have just good morning, Matt. Good morning. Good morning. We have just finished our reading routine, and now we're getting into our journaling routine. And usually what I like to start off with is writing about what I'm most grateful for. And in the morning, that is waking up, and I'm grateful for having exceptional health. So being in good health. And then I go on to reflect about, for all those people who are joining us for the first time, then I go on to journal about yesterday's success or yesterday's activities or things that I enjoyed about yesterday out of gratitude. And then pushing forward for any visions or ambitions that I have today or, onward, then I go ahead and write about those or journal about those also. So with that being said, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning, Uncle. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning. Brandon, what's up, man? Good morning. Alrighty, so we just finished our journaling routine, and the author is jumping back to our book to finish our session here. The author is now talking about the Sixth Sense, and he has been for a while now, for at least this chapter. And so what he's doing is he's trying to best explain what the Sixth Sense is and when we are most noticeably going to experience it. And so he defines the time when we're most noticeably going to experience it as during any emergency which arouses the emotions and causes the heart to beat more rapidly than normal, may and generally does bring the Sixth Sense into action. Anyone who has experienced a near accident while driving knows that on such occasions, the Sixth Sense often comes to one's rescue and aids by split seconds in avoiding the accident. The author talks about this imaginary counsel. We went over that yesterday. For the first time in a long time, actually for the first time, the author mentions that to anyone outside of himself for the first time when he writes this book, because he thought that people would perceive him as being crazy. But then he came to the realization that it doesn't really, pretty much, it doesn't really matter what other people think, because this is the reality that he's living, and the truth that is, the truth that is within him. Nearly all great leaders, so he continues, nearly all great leaders, such as Napoleon, Bismarck, Joan of Arc, Christ, Buddha, Confucius, and Muhammad, understood and probably made use of the Sixth Sense almost continuously. The major portion of their greatness consisted of their knowledge of this principle. The Sixth Sense is not something that one can take off and put on at will. Ability to use this great power comes slowly through application of the other principles outlined in this book. Seldom does any individual come into workable knowledge of the Sixth Sense before the age of 40. This is a very interesting fact and huge encouragement. More often, the knowledge is not available until one is well past 50. And this for the reason that the spiritual forces with which the Sixth Sense is so closely related do not mature and become usable except through years of meditation, self-examination, and serious thought. So, dong, the Chinese bell goes ringing in the distance. Again, I mean, I think just from that sentence alone, it just gives credibility to everything that we've been doing for the last 157 days. And I think we have to put credit where credit is due. This book is saying we don't come into our Sixth Sense awareness until we're 40 years old, usually, most people, except for those who take time to put or apply serious thought to their life, self-reflection, their reading, essentially, and meditating on their lives. So, and then that the Sixth Sense doesn't become fully mature, long story short, until past the age of 50. Like, we got a long way to go. There's a lot to build on. There's a lot to do. And for everybody out there who is, 40 and younger, When I say younger, I mean the opposite, right? 40 and older, or 40 and younger, or 40 years young, or 50 years young. That's even more of a hint. That's even more of a hint to say, hey, you guys have arrived. You got, 20 plus years of experience under your belt. And that is wisdom of things that you should and what you shouldn't be doing. And that's wisdom that can be applied back to people who are younger or people who have not experienced as much. And that is the whole purpose of network and masterminding, because now you have these, friends who are older or younger than you, 50 years young or 40 years young, and have experience, and they're coming into their sixth sense realizations. And through that, there's so much wisdom that can be passed on, and which accelerate our process of, our sixth sense maturity, this, that, and the other. So I think it just all makes sense when we look at it from a complete picture. The best years are yet to come for all of us. No matter who you are or what may have been your purpose in reading this book, excuse me, you can profit by it without understanding the principle described in this chapter, the sixth sense. This is especially true if your major purpose is that of accumulation of money or material things. The chapter on the sixth sense was included because the book is designed for the purpose of presenting a complete philosophy by which individuals may unerringly guide themselves to attaining whatever they ask for in life. The starting point of all achievement is desire. The finish point is that brand of knowledge which leads to understanding. That's interesting. I'm going through a transaction right now with some of my buyers, and they ask me, well, David, what about this? Oh, well, David, what about that? And I always tell them, I don't, oh, well, we feel this or we feel that. This is, this, that, and the other. That's great. But the number one way to kill curiosity and cure curiosity and overcome mental roadblocks or fears or what have you is to get more information. And that's interesting because that's, so in a situation like that, I just go and get more information. I narrow down exactly what the fear is or exactly what the concern is, and then I go get more information from the selling agent or the listing agent. And so the starting point of all achievement is desire. The finishing point is that brand of knowledge, which leads to understanding. That's what triggered that for me. Knowledge, which leads to understanding. We can't sit here and be upset, or we can't sit here and think about it too hard. We just need to go grab the information. And if there's no information to support the claim being made, then we have to decide whether or not that's a claim that we wish to accept. And I think that's applicable to all life. Let me see here. Understanding of self. So it says knowledge, which leads to understanding. Understanding of self, understanding of others, understanding of the laws of nature, recognition, and the understanding of happiness. Excuse me. And the understanding of happiness. So for tomorrow's session, so that pretty much concludes today's session. And the biggest takeaway I would say today is just understanding that the sixth sense is within all of us, and then we all come into it at a different period of time, and they have expectations of when we should. The universe, I would say, the universe has a log of when people usually come into this greatness. Now, remember, Napoleon Hill, I believe, interviewed and studied 25,000 people for this book, so he put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into creating a written masterpiece that can serve people for 50 years and 50 more years to come. And so tomorrow what we're going to focus on is faith versus fear. So we're going to talk about the top 6 fears, that perceivable fears or imaginary fears that are within us, and we'll talk a little bit about how to overcome those and what we can do to change our mindset around them. And we're just going to search for ourselves tomorrow as we read through these fears. So it'll be a good eye-opener and good self-reflection time for all of us to ask which fears are holding us back. But until then, let's see what they are, because I don't know what they are. So thank you, everybody, for joining me for day 157 of 365 with David McDonald, the GOAT. Everybody who jumped on the messenger board this morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for jumping on, letting me know you're here and checking in. Everybody who enjoys these morning sessions, if you could go to the Journey to Greatness page and press the like button. We're at 31 likes. Let's try to get to 32. And that's a perfect exercise to, get in the routine of executing on the gold window of opportunity. And for those who need a little refresher on the gold window of opportunity, that is the simple thing that separates 95% of everyone and the top 5% of everyone. It's the ability to execute. Now, even if it's not on this form, that's completely fine. Go out and figure out something that you want to execute on. And it's as simple as thinking of something, saying you're going to do it, and then doing it. I did have one of my brothers and friends ask me yesterday, David, how do you control? Let me see. Let me answer this question, because it's an interesting one. And to be honest, I didn't really know how to answer it. So I'm going to let it flow right out of me right now. The question was, let me see. Yesterday, the question was, what are some ways to help with self-control, having more control of the mind to focus? At the time, I said, I don't know how to answer this question. Let me say it again. What are some ways to help with self-control, having more control of the mind to focus? So the reason why I think I don't know how to answer this question is because there really isn't too much thinking that goes into it. You just have to, as a person, want it bad enough that it consumes your lifestyle. It consumes everything that you're about. And the more that you want it, and I did answer it actually, and it was a pretty good response. I answered it. I said, what you're aware of. Once you're aware, okay. So the first step is becoming aware. Like, because I asked for my buddy to go into more detail. He said, how do you control your impulses? And I said, well, the first step is to become aware of your impulses. Once you become aware of your impulses and where you feel like you're lacking focus, that's where you can write them down and create a ritual for yourself. That's what I said. You could create a ritual for yourself to overcome them. So the first thing is you have to want it bad enough in order for you to get up every morning. So if you can't get up every morning, your why may not be strong enough. I don't think it's anything else other than that. You have the ability to wake up in the morning every single day. There is no excuse for it, period. But you have to just do it. And then if there's like an impulse, or if there's something like if you're like, damn, man, I messed up again. You have one of those feelings. Dang, man, I keep messing up. That's about substituting a ritual into a train of thought, a negative train of thought, or impulses of action. So if you think about something and it makes you feel really bad, and then you get really, really sad, and then you go into depression for a day, and then you don't want to talk to anybody for a week, something like that, you can just substitute a ritual right in between. And that's taught in our life coaching class that I went through last year. And all you do is right before you when you have this thought or that thing that triggers this negative response or spiral into wherever you're going, you just submit a positive idea there. You submit an activity that you have to immediately do. And so it curbs that whole negative cycle. So you're going down this negative spiral, you're going down, you insert a ritual, it stops you from going down, and then redirects you, and then you go back up. And so And then anything else deeper than that just needs more coaching or guidance, therapy or what have you. But yeah, I think you just really have to want it. You have to really just want it, and you have to start small. As a reminder, you have to start small, and you just have to take it day by day. You can't be hard on yourself. I think you have to be hard on yourself. There's a difference between, I think there's a difference between, like you got to earn it. You just got to earn it. I feel, and I can't define what that means to, for everybody. But for me, it's like if I don't do, if I say I want to do it for 10 days and I don't get it for 10 days, I haven't earned it. And then to step back or take a step back, I don't feel that like, oh, well, I'm going to do it for 9 days. No, I don't think I've earned it. And like I said, for any day that we haven't been online, we're not 365. The whole year isn't complete until we make up every single day of the 365. So I'm not getting away from 365. It's going to be a true 365. But my whole point here is that you just got to want it. You got to want it. And the things where you feel like you're lacking, if it's like, oh, man, it sucks, I can't get up in the morning. Well, then what's your mindset like in the morning? Write it down on a piece of paper. When you wake up tomorrow, if you have a significant other, have them wake you up or help you wake up. If there's an alarm or something that you have to set, make it so loud that you have to wake up. Go to bed early. You got to change everything about yourself in order to achieve or get to that next level. Then you got to do it. So with that, today I'm feeling really good. This last few days I've been eating a lot more, and I think the diet was what was killing me. Not killing me, but forcing my body to change. And so that makes me really happy. And then I've been getting a little bit more sleep, like an hour or two more of sleep, because I've been going to bed a little bit earlier. So I feel like my body is rested, which is great. But yeah, so I'm going to go back on the diet again because that's what this is about. We have to master that balance. We got to master that path. And I still believe that our bodies are our temples. So the food that we put into it is going to dictate and have some effect over our energy levels. And so I just have to master that diet portion of it to a T, where I can eat sustainably every single day and not really lose weight, but just be where I want to be physically and live still a very healthy, balanced, and happy lifestyle. And so I'm going to jump back into it, here in the next week. But first, I'm going to go eat a full pizza. All right, guys. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Have the best day of your life. Peace.